Is this your first time in Kuala Lumpur?
No, it's my second. I came here roughly about 10 years ago. I played in a triangular series, which we won quite well. And I had a great experience. I played some golf, we won at cricket, and we moved on. But it took me 10 years to come back. And I'm happy to be back, yeah.
So what's your agenda in Kuala Lumpur this time round?
Well, my foundation, the Lara Foundation, I reached out to my friends in Malaysia and asked if we can get some support. I don't know if you know, but very recently we had the Hurricane Matthew that swept through the Caribbean. Places like Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, all were devastated a bit by that hurricane. So we've been raising funds, and my friends say yes, come out. You know, and they got their friends to, their well-off friends to contribute. So it's sort of like a very short visit on my way to Australia as well, and it's been pretty productive. From here is Singapore, and then on to Australia, where I spend like roughly close to a month.
Oh wow, okay, so like you mentioned earlier, you were here 10 years ago playing, and I'm sure you've seen our local cricket as well.
I know there's a couple big competitions coming up. I'd love to see them progress, and you know, just speaking to a couple of the officials in the Malaysian Cricket Board, you know, I think they feel very optimistic about their chances of moving from, you know, one division to the next. I think presently might be the third division, moving into the second division, and if that's possible, then it's great for Malaysian cricket, and a couple of victories against teams like Afghanistan is always going to help. So I wish them well. I hope to see some young players later on today, and see how well they do.
How did your cricket journey started?
From a very early age. I came from a family of 11, 6 brothers, 4 sisters, and myself. And I'm the number 10. So I had 6 older brothers, and you know, they forced me onto the streets. I played cricket with them. I had to toughen up pretty early.
How old were you then?
Maybe about 5, 6, and I got out into the streets, and you know, I had to hold my own. They gave no quarters, and I believe that large family, that support, a very sport-oriented family. My father loved cricket, he loved football as well, all sporting disciplines. He encouraged us to play. I played everything: table tennis, lawn tennis, basketball, cricket, football. Yeah, but I realized that cricket was maybe the one that I'm best at, so I stuck with it maybe from about the age of about 14.
So were there any cricket idols that you were growing up looking up to?
Yeah. Back in the day, there was a left-handed batsman like myself called Roy Fredericks, and he was maybe my role model, but I sort of picked from different players. So Vivian Richards, Gordon Greenwich, Desmond Haynes, they all had different styles. And I picked a little bit from their game and, you know, used it in mine.
Yeah, what would you say is your biggest professional career achievement? I mean, you've played for your country, you've played in England, so that's plenty.
Yeah, I mean, playing for the West Indies for 17 years, it was any boyhood dream in the West Indies. You know, you have all these huge stars at the time when I was growing up, Clive Lloyd, Sir Vivian Richards, and to actually be a part of a team where they were still present, they were still playing. I was a youngster, they were on their way out. That to me was maybe my biggest accomplishment, you know, to share a dressing room with all those great players in the past.
Who is the most famous person you have met?
Oh my gosh. On the sporting field or in general?
In general, to you is the biggest star, that you were starstruck, that you were stuck there like, oh, can't talk.
Quite a few. I mean, I'd name my top 3 would be President Obama, the late Nelson Mandela, and the Queen. You know, and to spend time with each person separately and in person was very special. I mean, I had an hour with Mandela. We sat and we chatted about different things. I had 5 minutes with Obama, but they're all very special moments for me.
How do you relax though outside of sports? You spend so much time in it. That is essentially your career. What else do you do?
I pick my 2 girls up, take them to school. Yeah, I work very closely with the government in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm like a special envoy. I heard they call me that one day, and I do different things with my Prime Minister. I try to get involved in tourism as well, as someone who traveled the world and seeing how beautiful different places are and knowing exactly what my home has to offer. I tend to try to get people to visit Trinidad and Tobago a little bit more.
So what about on your free time? I'm assuming you don't have any free time, do you?
It's very difficult. I don't think there's enough hours in the day for myself. But do a bit of reading and just relaxing. Being away from home for so many years, playing international sport, just getting up in the morning, knowing fully well that you don't have that professional grind day in, day out anymore. It's just total relaxation. So I do spend a lot of time just sort of a little in my own space kind of thing.
Okay, so what if one day, imagine, you weren't, or you were never a cricket player? What do you think you would have been instead?
Maybe a bad accountant. I did like accountancy in school, but...
So you're good with numbers? You're good with numbers?
Decent with numbers.
Who you see as the next talent, the next Brian Lara?
Well, in West Indies cricket, Darren Bravo's been around for some time. Maybe he hasn't gone on to what people expected, but I still believe he's still a bit young and could grow into something in his late 20s and early 30s. But I suppose worldwide, the cricketer that everyone's looking at now is Virat Kohli from India. I think he's very, very special. And maybe a lot of great things. You never know. He might be the one to break a few of those records myself and Sachin, had.
You've broken a couple in a test cricket as well. The thing is, I've heard a lot about it being not so popular anymore. What are your thoughts? What are you feeling?
Definitely. Well, over the last, I would say, 7 or 8 years, maybe even a bit longer, we've had the introduction of T20. And Test cricket was always waning. It was always losing the spectators. And this new version of the game came about, and everybody sort of rushed back, which potentially, I would say, killed Test cricket, at least in some of the minor countries. I mean, the Ashes between England and Australia is always going to be strong. Rivalry between India and Pakistan. There are some countries that the traditional game is going to remain. In other countries, it's all about the economics, and people just want value for money. Sure. And it's going to be very difficult to see. I'm just watching a game between Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka. There's literally no one in the stadium, and that is really sad. But it's just, it's you'd like to see Test cricket remain, because I believe it's the true test of a player's character, his attrition level, his ability. T20, sort of fast food cricket where, hit or miss. But, we've got instant superstars because of it. And I'm someone who actually pro T20. I think it's a great format. I think it's brought a lot of people back to the game, which is good.
Of course, as you mentioned earlier, you're the ambassador, sports ambassador to be specific, for your country, Trinidad and Tobago. So how does that keep you busy?
Well, sport and tourism. So very recently, there was a world travel market going on in London. So myself and Dwight, we'll travel around trying as much as possible from a celebrity point of view, attract people to our country and let them know how beautiful it is. We are very strong in oil and gas, but as you know, those prices are up and down, and that could have a very dangerous effect on any country. So we're trying as much as possible to diversify. Sport tourism is also a big thing, coming out to the Caribbean, be it Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm from. We can host a lot of different teams, school teams, international teams. And we're seeing how best we can create an avenue for that.
Well, looking forward to visiting your country one day.
Hopefully I'm going to be back here next year. I'm not going to leave it for 10 years. I'm going to definitely try to be back here in 365 days.